Welcome to Billy's Books. It's been a while. Nice to see you again. Today I'm going to do, instead of a science fiction story, I know, it's not a Star Wars novel. Don't worry, the next one will be. But this one, we're just going for classic here. I was watching some of the, I was watching the PBS special on Hemingway, so I'm reading Farewell to Arms. It's basically, he plays an American medic in Italy in World War I. Hemingway is known for very stark language, and that is true. And I figure, and he's also known for punching people, and he's a manly man, as we all know. I wasn't sure if there was going to be any humor in this book, and there is. But the humor is very dry because his writing style is so stark and matter of fact. He does a lot of showing and very little telling, if you know what I mean. So anyway, I'm just going to read a couple quotes from exchanges he has with people while in Italy. And of course, all these conversations are in Italian, unless he says otherwise. But, and there's some surprises in here. So here's just one little bedside chat with, these are out of context, they're just little exchanges. I don't know, I said. There isn't always an explanation for everything. Oh, isn't there? I was brought to think there was. That's awfully nice. That's one quote. Another quote is, he was courting, he and his buddy Rinaldi, who is another doctor, they are chasing women. After a while, we said goodnight and left. Walking home, Rinaldi said, "Miss Barkley prefers you to me. That is very clear. But the little Scotch one is very nice." "Very," I said. I had not noticed her. "You like her?" "No," said Rinaldi. And you think, oh, maybe he's charming and cool, but then in the next chapter, of course, when he does go talk to Miss Barkley and stuff, he's kind of a dick. He sort of makes the moves, and then when she resists, he plays it a certain way so she feels bad for, denying him and stuff, and it just goes on like that, and he's just real gruff and just, old school. The character, I know that it's hard to distinguish when he writes a book like this. It's hard to distinguish Hemingway from his characters. You get the feeling this is pretty autobiographical, since he did indeed go to war. And maybe doesn't even disapprove of war. That's a little unclear so far. I assume that his attitude changes, because right now they're kind of looking forward to a big attack, and all the Italians are looking forward to that, and they are just sort of moving things around in anticipation of an attack. Anyway, the attack eventually comes. He and a few of his other buddies are in a bunker, and some artillery comes down and kills a couple of them and wounds our hero. So our hero is in an Italian hospital. And here's a little quickety-quick exchange. "Let's go to Rome tonight," and I think they've been drinking. I think his friends came to visit him in the hospital and they've been drinking. "Let's go to Rome tonight and never come back." "Rome is a beautiful city," said the major. "The mother and father of nations," I said. "Roma is feminine," said Rinaldi. "It cannot be a father." "Who is the father then? The Holy Ghost?" "Don't blaspheme." "I wasn't blaspheming. I was asking for information." "You're drunk, baby." "Well, who made me drunk?" "I made you drunk," said the major. "I made you drunk because I love you and because America is in the war." "Up to the hilt," I said. "You go away in the morning, baby," Rinaldi said. "To Rome," I said. "No, to Milan." "To Milan," said the major. "To the Crystal Palace, to the Cova, to Campari's, to Biffi's, to the Galleria." "You lucky boy." "To the Gran Italia," I said, "where I will borrow money from George." "To the Scala," said Rinaldi. "You will go to the Scala. Every night," I said. "You won't be able to afford it every night," said the major, and so on. So these doctors and stuff, they have a bit of a rapport. We haven't seen this yet, but back at the camp before he was shot, he was good friends with the priest, but all the soldiers made fun of the priest for, they'd make fun of him for being a ladies' man and all this stuff, and he just put up with it. But of course, the priest still loved them all, and they still loved him, or maybe they didn't. Maybe they were just making fun of him flat out. We don't know, because everything is matter of fact. We only see what they do and say we don't know how they feel inside unless they express it. And this being World War I, manly men from that generation, there won't be a lot of expression of feelings. Anyway, this is Hemingway. It is, I was afraid it was just going to be really boring, like it felt to read Hemingway in high school, but as a grown-up, I think I'm enjoying it a bit more. It does have a sense of humor that's very dry, which is also the kind of thing a high schooler might not notice. I mean, you know, high schooler of my generation. I'm sure all the high schoolers of this generation are much more sophisticated and catch all those nuances. Anyway, I think for reading the best of Hemingway, it's a book worth reading, checking out. I assume the message gets grimmer as we go along, but I could be wrong because I never wait till the end because I don't want to spoil it. Yes. Germany loses. If you can't do a review.
What you gonna do when the satellites drop, when the satellites drop, when